The automatic doors of the grocery store in downtown Chicago slid open as Daniel Wright walked in, adjusting the sleeve of his tailored coat. At 42, he was a self-made millionaire, the CEO of a rapidly growing logistics firm. Numbers, contracts, and expansion plans usually occupied his mind. But that evening, he had stopped by the store himself, wanting a rare moment of normalcy after a long day of meetings. As he walked past the aisles, his attention was drawn to the baby section. A young woman stood there quietly, a baby secured against her chest in a worn carrier. Her jacket was thin for the winter weather, and her face showed clear signs of exhaustion. Dark circles under her eyes, lips pressed together in concentration. She was holding a can of infant formula, reading the price again and again, as if hoping she had misunderstood it. Daniel slowed his steps without realizing it. The woman glanced down at her baby, who stirred softly, then looked back at the shelf. Her fingers tightened around the can, before she let out a slow breath and carefully placed it back. Instead, she reached for a much cheaper box of instant oatmeal. Her movements were deliberate, controlled, but Daniel caught the slight tremble in her hands. Something about the moment felt painfully intimate. At the checkout counter, Daniel stood a few customers behind her. He watched as she emptied her wallet onto the counter. Wrinkled bills, loose coins, counted twice to be sure. The cashier said something apologetically, pointing at the screen. The woman shook her head quickly, embarrassment flashing across her face, and removed one small item from the conveyor belt. She paid, gathered her single grocery bag, and walked out without looking back. Daniel completed his purchase, but the image stayed with him. Without fully understanding why, he followed her outside. She didn't head toward a car. Instead, she walked past the parking lot toward a bus stop at the corner of the street. The city traffic roared around them, horns blaring, people rushing past without noticing her slow, careful steps. She sat on the cold metal bench and adjusted the baby's blanket, whispering softly as the child fussed. Her voice was tired but gentle, filled with a tenderness that made Daniel pause several feet away. He told himself it wasn't his place. He had donated millions to charities, sponsored programs, written speeches about social responsibility. Yet standing there, watching a mother choose between dignity and necessity, all of that suddenly felt distant. For the first time in years, Daniel felt unsure, but also compelled. Taking a quiet breath, he stepped closer, knowing that once he did, this moment would no longer be just another scene he walked past. Daniel stopped a short distance from the bus stop, giving the woman space while gathering his thoughts. Approaching a stranger was not something he usually did, especially not outside the controlled environments of boardrooms and events. Still, something stronger than habit pushed him forward. "Excuse me," he said calmly. "I hope I'm not bothering you." The woman looked up at once, instinctively tightening her hold on the baby. Her eyes showed caution but also fatigue. "Yes," she replied, her voice guarded. "I saw you in the store," Daniel continued carefully. "I don't mean to intrude. I just wanted to ask if you're okay." She hesitated, then nodded. "We're fine," she said quickly, though the words sounded rehearsed. The baby shifted again, and she gently rocked back and forth, her focus never fully leaving the child. Daniel nodded, respecting her response. "My name is Daniel," he added, hoping to make the moment less uncomfortable. After a brief pause, she answered, "Emily." A city bus slowed as it passed, already full, then pulled away. Silence settled between them. Finally, Emily let out a quiet sigh. "I didn't plan for today to be like this," she said, more to herself than to him. "Prices keep going up. I work part-time, but after rent and utilities, there's not much left." Daniel listened without interrupting. There was no self-pity in her tone, only honesty. She stared straight ahead as she spoke. "My husband passed away last year. Since then, it's just been me. I tried to make it work." The words landed heavily. Daniel felt a familiar ache from his own past, memories of watching his mother struggle after his father left. Success had created distance between him and those moments, but it hadn't erased them. "I'm sorry," he said sincerely. Emily gave a small nod, wiping her eyes quickly. "I don't usually talk about it. I just needed to get home." Daniel reached into his coat and pulled out a simple business card. He held it out without pushing it toward her. "I run a company here in the city," he said. We have a foundation that helps families during hard times. No paperwork today. No obligations. She looked at the card, then back at him, uncertainty written across her face. I don't want handouts, she said softly. Daniel met her gaze. It's not a handout. It's support, temporary. And someday, when you're able, you'll pass it on. The bus arrived moments later. Emily took the card, her fingers brushing his. Thank you, she whispered. As she boarded the bus, Daniel stepped back, watching it pull away. He realized that following her had changed more than her evening. It had reminded him that behind every statistic was a human story, and sometimes the smallest step toward someone could matter the most.